Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome. You are tuned in to the somewhat best blog on YouTube, Bigmikes Blog, or blog, whatever you want to call it. I'm Big Mike, your host. Haven't done one of these in a while. That seems to be the growing theme every time I do these. But I figured I would do one today. Excuse me, just wanted to grab something really quick. So today's topic is going to be one a little bit special to my heart. Today marks, if you don't know, is the 25th of January, which in Toronto, in Canada, all over, well, it should be all over the world, I believe, but in particularly in Toronto, in Canada, it's Bell Talk Day. So Bell Canada, telephone company, telecommunications company, they have a day where they devote, talk about Bell Let's Talk. And Bell Let's Talk is basically an initiative that they started a few years back where it highlights mental health and talking about it and getting the discussion started. And it's something that I feel is a very important thing to discuss and talk about. And basically, you could, if you, I guess, hashtag Let's Talk, Bell Let's Talk, either on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Bell Canada puts, I believe it's 5 cents to every tweet, Instagram post, Facebook post you send, and it goes to mental health charities and initiatives and things of that nature. I believe that's what it is. And again, like I said, I feel it's a great initiative and I support it 100%. The reason for me doing this is for a number of reasons, this blog. I myself have gone through bouts of depression and stuff like that, and I want to talk about it for a numerous amount of reasons. I turned 33. Happy birthday to me. I turned 33 about a week and a half ago, on the 16th of January, and it was a really low key birthday, pretty mundane. I didn't really do much. It was a Monday, so it was really kind of hard to do anything. But I got a lot of love from people, whether it be on social media, people texting me, people calling me, wishing me happy birthday. Probably more so than any other year that I've actually been on this planet. And I know that a lot of it's due to being social media, whatever the case may be, but just the fact that people, again, took time out of their busy schedules to wish me happy birthday was so overwhelming for me, and I was really appreciative of it. So much so that I actually posted a video thanking everyone, because I couldn't possibly send a video to every single person, but I wanted to thank everyone because it really meant a lot to me. One post that was actually posted meant a lot to me, a lot more than everyone else's. Not that everyone else's didn't, but this one really hit home for me, and it was a post from my sister. And I'll actually read you what she posted me, because it was probably one of the sweetest things. She said, "Sending happy birthday love to my little big bro. Love you dearly. You have persevered through so much that would have crushed a weaker person. I'm proud of the young man you've become. Wishing you continued success. Have a fabulous birthday." And she had a lot of emojis and stuff on there afterwards. And I almost cried. That's how much it touched me. And it touched me from the perspective of not only because was it just so heartfelt and it meant a lot to me that she said that, but it made me also reflect on my life and the things I've been through in my life. And not a lot of people know about me. I don't really share a lot about myself. I'm pretty guarded for the most part. Part of the reason why I'm guarded is that I've reached a point in my life now where people have to earn the right to get to know me. And yeah, people may think because I do vlogs or blogs on YouTube, that means that you know me based off of that, but there's a lot more to me and there's a lot of things I don't share. But I feel like this is something I want to talk about, my depression and the things I've been through. Not in a bunch of detail because it will take way too long, but I want to kind of give you a little bit of a snapshot of what I went through when I was younger and where I am now. And maybe through that you might get an understanding of two things. One being why I am the way I am, and two, biggest reason why I'm doing this is because if someone's watching this, if someone's going through a rough time, I want them to be able to maybe hopefully see my story as some type of inspiration, and to look at their life and be like, you know what, maybe I can persevere through this. Because there's a lot of people that are going through depression or going through or suicidal and all these other mental health issues, and they're not going to talk about it. They're not going to do a vlog about this. They're not going to discuss it with their parents or their friends or their family or a counselor or whatever. They're going to go through this in silence. And yeah, it's great that everyone's posting stuff and everyone's talking about mental health, and that's great for today. But then tomorrow, next week, this is all going to be forgotten and everyone's just going to continue on. And I'm not saying that we need to drill it into people's brains, but what I'm saying is that we can't just talk about it and post it because it's trendy today. This is something that we need to talk about going forward and continue the discussion all year round, not just because it's today and it's trendy and it's fun, you know. So that's the reasons why I did it. So I guess to start the story, I guess the best thing to do is to start from the beginning, not from when I was born, but to talk about specifically when I was really going through some depression and a rough time. It started really when I was 15. I was living with my dad in Maryland, and that wasn't really the best time for me. I was going, he wasn't the best. That living situation wasn't really the best, and things weren't working out between me and him, and I ended up leaving. My mom ended up taking me in. Not taking me in, but my mom came. My mom was actually living in Guyana, and she came back to North America, and she picked out of 4 states. She randomly picked Tennessee, and I moved with her to Tennessee, and was living in Tennessee, and it was really hot. It was really nice. I enjoyed it when I was there. I came to Toronto for a vacation, and it was just supposed to be a week, and a week turned into 4.5 years. Some unforeseen family stuff happened, and family drama had happened, and which put me in a situation where I was in trouble with the law, which was a point where I was going to actually have to serve some jail time. That's kind of the point I had reached. So that was obviously a rough time for me. And around, I would say 18, when I turned 18, was probably the hardest, because that's when the trial started, when I was 18. And that lasted throughout the whole year. Most of the year was from basically February the trial was until September I was on trial. Finally, they handed down the verdict in September, and I was found guilty. So my sentence was 6 months of jail time, which was open custody, and then 18 months of probation. So I had to do about 2 years total of this. I did 2 years basically with my sentence total. Rough 2 years, was rough. Getting into jail, people may think, oh, that was like really rough. You must have been depressed. And there was times where I was sad. I remember when I called my sister, my oldest sister, on my 19th birthday, because I spent my 19th birthday in jail, and I was crying. I couldn't even hold back the tears. I cried because I was just depressed. I spent my Christmas in jail, spent my birthday in jail, spent New Year's in jail. So the early part of 2003 sucked ass for me. I got out May of 2003, and my mindset when I was about to leave was, I'm going to go to school, I'm going to get a job, I'm going to do all this stuff, okay? And before I continue, just to let you know, this video might cut out. This is probably going to be maybe a 2 or 3 part vlog, just letting you know now, so bear with me. But I'm going to try to get the whole story out as much as I can, so even if I have to, stop and continue, I will continue through the story, so bear with me, okay? So I just wanted to let you know that now. So I had plans basically to take over the world. That was my mentality when I got out of jail, and unfortunately none of those things happened. I got out of jail. I was just pounding the pavement trying to get a job, and there was no jobs, and I just felt defeated at that point. I just felt like a loser. I felt that like my life up to that point had just been shit. Like my teenage years had already sucked, and now it just felt like I'm at 19 and it's gotten worse. Like I can't get a job. I'm staying at my sister's and she's pregnant and she's going through her own drama, and I have my own shit to deal with, and it just wasn't a good time for me at the time. And being sad then turned into depression, and from depression it went to suicidal thoughts, and actually wanted to contemplate killing myself because I just felt like a loser. I felt like a burden on everyone, and I felt that if I wasn't around, it'd be better for everyone else, because I just felt like I wasn't going to amount to nothing. I wasn't going to be shit. I wasn't shit, and that's how I felt for like a long time. I remember the lowest point for me was one day I woke up around 4 in the morning, and I got up really early, just randomly. I went out walking the streets or whatever. I woke up early. I went to an employment special, like an employment counseling place. Tried to apply for some jobs, and then for 5 hours I was just randomly walking around my neighborhood, and I passed the school that I'd never seen before. So I remember there was like I was walking around the school, and I saw this little alleyway, or like this little corridor that leads into the basement, and there's like some stairs. And I remember I sat near those stairs. I walked down that corridor, sat near the stairs, and I literally curled up in a fetal position, and I cried for 5 hours because I literally wanted to kill myself. I didn't know how to do it though. Didn't have any idea or any concept of how to do it. And I remember the next day I recorded like a suicide video, like just apologizing to my mom and my sisters and my brother, feeling like I was a burden to them, and I didn't want them to blame themselves for what happened to me. I just wanted to tell them that it was more me, and I love them, and I wish them well. Because at that point I really felt like I was actually going to kill myself. That's the point I had reached. But I couldn't go through with it. Something in me just said, you can't do this. Like, you need, give counseling another try. Because I had went to counselors before. Some were helpful, some weren't helpful. But I'd gotten to a point where I just felt like, okay, Mike, you need to try this again. Your life is on the line here. And I went to go see a counselor, and it actually wasn't a good experience. I mean, they wanted to put me on medication. But at the time, I didn't feel like I needed the medication. I just needed help. I needed someone to help me and figure something, And so I just felt like I was in this like spiral of like, what the fuck am I going to do? Basically, that's kind of what I was saying to myself. And luckily, by the grace of the man upstairs in the universe or whatever you believe in, I was able to get a job. I had applied at a Marche restaurant at York Mills in Bayview, and you guys know Toronto, you know where that is. And as like I think working in their grill station, and they offered me the job, and I took it, and that's kind of what got me out of the funk that I was in. Even though the job sucked and I hated it, the pay was lousy. It gave me confidence because it got me off my I wasn't thinking no longer about all the other stuff. I had like a distraction almost. Then I felt good. I was getting a paycheck and I was saving money and all that stuff. So I felt good. So then I worked there roughly for about say 2 years. No, I worked and then I went to school for about 2 years roughly. And then an opportunity for me came up for me to go to live in Guyana because my mom had some property out there. And I said, why the hell not? It's Guyana. So I took it. And Guyana was a great experience for me. And that is where I will stop right here. I'll pause it because I feel like I'm running out of time. But I will continue with now me living in Guyana and how that transpired. So bear with me, people. I'll be right back shortly. Stay tuned for part 2 of my story.